Victory Tax Act was passed as a means of funding the United States involvement in World War II, right? There was hundreds of millions of dollars that was spent on World War II, tens of billions of dollars in today's money spent on World War II, and Congress needed the money, right? They were selling bonds and they raised the income tax.
Indicative of the fact that the left will always make this claim, it's just billionaires, tax billionaires. What do you care? You're not a billionaire. Point is that they always start with taxing the people with the most money, and then they just spread it out as much as they can and creep backwards until everybody is paying the tax.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's no question about it. And what I was going to say is, up until 1942, only about 10% of Americans filed a tax return and paid an income tax. And after 1942, of course, those numbers flipped around the other way. 90% were filing and paying, and maybe 10% weren't required to file and pay. But here's what happened: is if you look at the revenue line for the federal government between 1900 and 1940, that revenue line is approximately flat. Now, it spikes a little bit in 1930 through 1940 because of the spending that the federal government did on Depression era programs, but it really spiked significantly in 1941, 1942, really, when America got involved in World War II. That's when the spending spiked considerably. That's when the revenue to the federal government spiked considerably. And if you look at that chart, you will see that at no time after 1943-44 did the revenue of the federal government ever go down. In other words, once they got their hands on that money, they never let it go, ever.